that they'll teach me. So I'm not crazy about these things. I'm selling all my business in about a month and I'm moving on. I've retired. I come in here passing by and I'm hearing women shouting and fighting on irrelevant stuff. Excuse me, everybody. I will try and contain my language because Daddy Freeze taught me that they always like cut live videos off if somebody uses bad language. Okay. Would you guys want me to speak in Yoruba instead? I'm asking the host.
English. I don't understand.
You want me to speak English? Okay, because someone just insulted me on Twitter just now that I'm using accent. I don't use accent. I lived in North America 31 years. So if you can't understand North American accents, fine. I said I'll go back to Yoruba. Let's go. My rule, nobody must talk and interrupt me. Many of you do not know what is going on in Wunmi and Mohbad's case. I have been an investigative journalist for 30 years, and you saw what Toronto police wrote yesterday, the police chief. 5 more people like KEMI and we'll solve everything. But KEMI is gone. She's no longer in Toronto. I helped them solve 13 murders. I know how to solve a murder. On September 15th, the Nigerian police called me 3 days after Mohbad died. They contacted me. I'd already left Nigeria. All right, I left Nigeria January 2023. They contacted me via DM on Twitter and they told me that they needed my help with regards to some things. They did not pay me a penny, okay, but they noticed I launched an investigation. It's not today since I've been launching investigations. All my investigation starts with IJ COVID, IJ COSA, everything IJ, investigative journalism. When they noticed I launched that investigation, they tried to do what they always do. Can we invite you to come in? They'll write me a letter. You can't invite me. I'm not even in the country. And stop inviting me because journalists are supposed to protect the source. If you want me to help you with the multimedia part, because you're going to have a problem. Sanwo-Olu just enacted a 12-member team, including forensic people, to solve this murder. It's a lot of money that Sanwo-Olu paid these people. And I expect to have something coming out of it. So when Ben Hundeyin talked to me and they said they wanted me to help them with anything I can, I said I can help you to authenticate the multimedia. Now let me tell you guys what I mean by the multimedia. Okay, multimedia is anything video, audio, anything online. Okay, because we have AI now, and that's why many journalists are retiring at 30 years. We normally retire at 35 or 40 years. Everybody's leaving journalism, and it's dangerous. Artificial intelligence is changing a lot of things. People are doing other people's voices and stuff. Now, we had a lot of multimedia out there when Mohbad died. These are things that should have come out before he died. There were videos of Zlatan's video shoot, which we should have seen when that video shoot happened. And Sam Larry went there to disrupt it with his boys, with bats, baseball bats, sticks, and cutlasses. I want to release him back to Kenya and Shelenya. Well, they release him. So it's medicine after death. Now, is it a real video shoot? What was going on? Because all I saw were 2 people on a wheelchair and women wheeling them. We have to authenticate it. If you follow the BBC, one of the oldest broadcasting media houses in the world, the BBC does not post things unless it's been authenticated. And that's why, as a journalist, in my 30 years of journalism, I spent 11 years in Nigeria. I start with the date and the time. Some people laugh at it. Oh, KEMI Olunloyo, 28th of June, 22. You have to authenticate date and time so that you know the day you did that. This is why I brought out all the tweets that I did when Naira Marley and Mohbad were fighting, and they beat Mohbad up, and that poor boy ended up in the hospital with a very high blood pressure. If you notice, I was the only journalist in that whole country that was tweeting back and forth to him. I even invited a doctor into the tweet thread, and the doctor came and said, look at his oxygen saturation. Talo Lubai. Any koko sorrow. But industry that. Okay, let's go on. Back to the police. I found a video which sound like Sam Larry's voice. And the voice said, Otiwa mortuary, all stations settled. I wanted to authenticate that. That was fake. They used Sam Larry's voice on AI. This is what they called forensic, okay? I can't show anybody anything. I'm reading some of these comments as I'm trying to talk. Show us what Ben Hundeyin said. You can tweet Ben Hundeyin. Don't act like a fool. Okay, this is why I say Nigerians are smart but not intelligent. Start using your intelligence. We're supposed to be the most intelligent in the world. I promote Nigerians are the most intelligent people in America. What I found in this investigation is shocking to the core. Okay, that I've sent a message to Obaelegushi because I want to ask him a question. On September 15th.
No calling no names, please. Thank you.
Okay, don't call any names. I'll just say Oba. When I say
Yes,
that
ma'am.
king of Ikate, I'll just say Ikate king. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
This is where my problem lies. But guys, listen. So on the 16th of September, I gathered all the multimedia I had and I showed it to the police. Then Marwa called me. The spokesman to the NDLEA called me and asked me if I still have a record of the interview I did with Cool FM after the Malian house was raided in February of 2022. Marwa's office, Mr. Femi Babafemi, he now asked me, and I said, yes, I have it. I actually have everything I do out there in media. So I contacted Manny in Cool FM, and I said, Manny, that interview you did with me, I'm submitting it to the NDLEA. What I didn't know was that Iyabo and Tonto, can I call their own names? First names?
Yeah, you can. Go on. Go on.
That's very
That's
important. What I didn't know was that Iyabo and Tonto had done a video and was viral all over the internet that the NDLEA poisoned Mohbad. What Iyabo and Tonto didn't know was that is why we have to authenticate things. What they didn't know was that this information that they're putting around about Mohbad at the NDLEA drinking something out of a bottle was not 2023. It was February 2022. And I was involved in that. When the Malian house was raided, they found 12 people sitting on the ground with a big stash of drugs at the end of the room, and everybody was smoking. The whole room was smoking. Somebody snitched, and the NDLEA came and raided. In that video, I posted the video. A woman was running towards one of the agents, shouting, and that agent was carrying a gun. Another woman was shouting behind that woman, Wumi, stop, stop, because the guy was holding a gun. In America, the DEA does not have time. If you're approaching a DEA agent that's carrying a gun, they'll shoot you. Finish. At the end of the day, it was Wumi. She was in the room with the people doing the drug party. Everybody was all doing it. Now, let me tell you something. I'm looking at these comments. I really don't give a F.
Don't look at the
Okay, I'm not here for
comments.
fans attacking this because this is why all you ladies were fighting. I almost left this live. I do Twitter spaces all the time. This afternoon, I'm going to be on NDLEA spaces again. It's the 100th edition. We're going to be talking to the chairman. He asked them to call me. So I know these kind of settings, like spaces. You don't see people's faces, but you're hearing their voice. I don't have time for all these arguments. I'm going to tell you where the problem lies. Because as I'm sitting here now, immobilization, is that your name, host? I'm giving you, as I'm sitting there, I'm a very big influencer and I'm giving you exposure. And you need that exposure. You deserve that exposure. If I come on somebody's live, I get a lot of requests to come on somebody's live. I don't. But I'm giving this young lady exposure because she has patience and I've been watching her. So now at the end of the day, after compiling all the multimedia, the police side is supposed to be verifying who made this video, what's real, what's fake. So many things came out. With Mohbad's voice, Teba Tife Pamiton, Teba Tife Shele Simi, all kinds of stuff. We have to authenticate everything. Did he really say this to Wumi? You know, where's my phone? Everything was authenticated. So when I finished my investigation November 30th, I contacted the CP. Owonha was trained in the US, the UK, Israel, and another European country. He's what you call the definition of a modern police officer. Owonha rejected my report. Not that he told me, Dr. KEMI, I'm rejecting this report. No, they ignored it because I found the killer. With my full chest, I tweeted the name of the killer 6 times. Am I allowed to say who I this is not allegations. I won't mention. Should I mention or should I not mention what I found? Because you can always go to Twitter. Okay, let me do it this way. I tweeted.
Okay.
I tweeted.
You have evidence to that?
I tweeted the person's name. Okay, you will see it on Twitter. Blah name killed Mohbad. Blah killed Mohbad. Blah killed Mohbad. I wrote it 10 times. It's on my Twitter. It's there. You can go and see it. Okay, I didn't say allegedly killed. Killed. That's what I say. You're sure of that. At that point, okay, I know what I did because this is mirroring what happened with Tagbo in the Davido case. What Demola Adeleke did not know was I was actually in Imohini's office. I was inside Imohini's office, the former chief of police of Lagos, when Demola called, as well as the Oba of Lagos, Akiolu. I'm going to mention their names. Okay, they told Imohini that he must be very careful with Davido. Don't mess with our son. So with Kemi Olunloyo in the room of a police commissioner, the only thing I wasn't doing was I wasn't pressing record. I don't know what makes me do that. Those are times where you should really press record. I heard it with my own ears. There are powerful people in Nigeria who will call police and influence cases. So when I exposed this stuff, that your king in Lagos called so that they can protect Davido, the following week I was rearrested and went to Port Harcourt prison, my second arrest. When I came out, I now saw a video that Imohini said Davido in fact lied to us about where Tagbo was. This is mirroring that case. They are influential people. There are two politicians, okay, one king and a very, very rich businessman in this case of Mohbad. I have just released a write-up on Twitter. The write-up is very, very inflammatory, and it's about Zlatan. Everybody should go read it. I'm going to read it out for you. When I say inflammatory, it wouldn't get your show blocked or anything.
Okay.
But you need to know these things because Mohbad was one of the people that really disliked me. Mohbad did not like me. Some people are saying,
Why he was alive?
A lot of people don't like Kemi Olunloyo. That's a known. Okay? But in the case of Mohbad, let me say this to you. My children are 37, 33, and 24. Two of them are in the music business. The 33-year-old said, Mommy, why are you doing this case? Why are you even bothering to investigate this case? This was in September when I started. The 23-year-old did not want me in this case. Why did Mohbad like me? Because of some things I discovered after he died. I was shocked to the core. Just like I discovered that Yabo was collecting money to keep me in prison so that he can adjourn the case. It's the same way. Naira Marley came to Tiwa Savage's funeral and I asked him, I said, Naira, sense of entitlement. That's how I said it to you.
Tiwa Savage's funeral? You said
Naira Marley came to Tiwa Savage's funeral, father's funeral.
Okay.
And I went to Naira and I said, finally I meet you. It was the first time I met Naira Marley, September 3rd, 2021. I haven't seen him and I have not spoken to him since. And I said, sense of entitlement, Naira, kilo shele. Oh, Fumilo birthday this year. Naira gave me a birthday gift in 2019 on my 55th birthday. It was lavish. Toyi Lawani and Pretty Mike sponsored it. It was all over the internet. He gave me money. He posted me on his story. The next year, same thing. Gave me money, posted me on the story. The next year, there was no party because of the pandemic. Mercy Eke was going to throw the party. And Mercy said her own stylist was going to do me. One guy, Jerry, Swanky Jerry. We could not do it because of the pandemic. So Tiwa Savage decided to come on my live on my birthday and sing happy birthday to me. And Naira Marley came on. A lot of people came on that particular live. And I archived it. I keep all these things for the future. And of course, Naira posted me again, gave me money. So I now meet Naira in person for the first time. And I'm like, Naira, send a bed this me this shamuma broke. You know what he said? He said, I'm on my binu. And send me the DM. I send you 500K lale. Meaning that he would send me 500K that night. If you know what 500K means in 2021, you will appreciate it. So Naira did not send that 500K. I didn't see it. Naira, kilo day na a whole week. Go to send 500K now. Naira never replied me. And he was reading my messages. You know how you read. He doesn't have his read thing off. He was reading my messages. So I didn't know. I just left it alone. You leave things alone and you move on. And that was when? September of 2021. February of 2022. The Marlians were raided in their house. Chairman Marwa was in America having back surgery. It was me, KEMI Olunloyo, that contacted Naira Marley. This time on WhatsApp. Naira, they just raided your entire house. They've arrested a lot of people. And Mohbad got away. He just surfaced now. And he just did a video. If anything happens to me, blame Marlian Music and Naira Marley. You need to get home now. Naira was in Sweden. How did I know he was in Sweden? Because I had told him, I said, come and do a song with my son. My youngest son is an artist. When a big artist does a song with an upcoming artist, they blow. He promised me, okay, mommy, it's about today. So I knew he was in Sweden. I now messaged him on WhatsApp. The thing went blue, meaning that he read the message. Come home now. So Naira contacted the NDLEA, everything. In between that, Cool FM called me and I did an interview on what exactly happened there. And then the NDLEA was getting ready to prosecute these kids. And I was concerned about two of the people they arrested. You know who I was concerned about? I was concerned about Journalistic and Mohbad. Why? Because they're artists. If they're prosecuted by the NDLEA and that judge finds them guilty, like they found DeGeneral guilty, comedian DeGeneral was found guilty. That one came out of court laughing in the car. I didn't go to jail. He did not know that being found guilty is worse than not going to jail. If you're found guilty of drug trafficking in Nigeria, you cannot apply for a visa. Again, there is no country that will give you visa. Have you ever been convicted of a crime? Yes. Explain below. Drug trafficking. Oh, Lord. So knowing that, I wanted to avoid that because these boys were very good. Mohbad was the songwriter for Marlian Music. He wrote every song in that house for every artist. Mohbad was talented. We have only 3 good songwriters in Nigeria that will go international level. Because I went to Canada for 5 years and I was a member of the Canadian music industry. We have something called SOCAN. You guys can go on Twitter. Everything is online. SOCAN. Okay, Song Association of Canada. It's a hall of fame. They give them awards. Even the Grammys give the songwriters awards. Those 3 people are Teniola Akpata, Tiwa Tokbe, Savage, and Mohbad, Ilerioluwa Aloba. Those are the best songwriters in the history of Nigeria. I'm telling you. So knowing that songwriters make a lot of money and everything, there were places Mohbad was trying to be. It was Sophie Mikpe in your America to plan let's improve life, be toxicology test in Los America before him. This is the reason, the same reason why my oldest son said, Mommy, all these people you don't like, that don't like you, you ended up being the one investigating their cases. Hush puppy, that's another show. But what happened with Mohbad is that when I didn't get the 500,000, I moved on. So I'm trying to make a music, whatever, for my son. Naira Marley arrives, tweeted on the plane that I'm not really happy the way NDLEA beat up my artists, blah, 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 blah. Not knowing that they didn't arrest all his artists. He did not know. That's why people bring that tweet out cursing the NDLEA. Naira did not know when he tweeted that stuff that they did not arrest Mohbad. Because I, as a journalist, I got the list of all the people they arrested from the NDLEA and I went on Cool FM. So Nkota NDLEA, she was vindicated in here because I had that video, I had the audio from the radio interview, and I had the list. So I now saw this email that went to Femi Babafemi and was forwarded to me by Chairman Buba Marwa, and it was the list. And you can see that the person that sent the email is an agent. Oga, these are the people we arrested during the raid. Mohbad's name was not on there. So that really fucked up. Excuse my language. I don't want them to cut you off. That really effed up.
Yeah.
That really effed up Tonto and Iyabo. Iyabo and Tonto were very lucky. I'm telling you, I am the best. No one can praise me. I praise myself. I am the best investigative journalist. Iyabo and Tonto were very lucky. At that point, Marwa was angry. Okay? After that list came out, the agent sent everything. Marwa called the DSS. Do you remember they said the DSS has entered the investigation? They were about to
Yes.
arrest Yabo. They were about to arrest Yabo and Tonto for defaming Marwa. Marwa is not going to go to police, cybercrime, or all of that. Straight to the DSS. We're talking about the leader of the drug agency, and you just told the world on the internet that he poisoned Mohbad. DSS does not release people in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, so they release people in 3 years. They were very lucky.
Whoa.
So the NDLEA guy, after I was done with him, okay, after I was done with him, he now told me that, the NDLEA wrote me a letter that thanked me for having all the records and everything. Did any Nigerian journalists do this stuff? Was any Nigerian journalist investigating this thing? No, they don't, because they work for the media houses that turn them into puppets. And many of those media houses are owned by politicians, businessmen, and kings. So they can report everything. This is why we, the independent journalists, can report everything, but we don't have the money. They have the money, we don't have the money. So I resort on donations. I spent $7,500 on Mohbad's investigation. That's why I promote Facebook monetization a lot. Oh, one in Facebook, ejo. To bá ti kúrò Nigeria, oh, one in Facebook. Okay, Nigeria is monetized now. Ghana got monetized today, and people are not even, they're not even bothering. Everybody just is waiting for someone to teach them. Go and pay, invest in your life. But owó tí mo pa ni mo fi lọ ṣe investigation Mohbad. Ó dẹ̀ bí ọmọ mi nú. Mommy, you can use that money for other things. I know that. I'll be 60 next month. I can use it to go and have a birthday party in Dubai or somewhere. But at the end of the day, I wanted justice for somebody that didn't like me. While we were in Lagos, Naira, why bomb me showing? My bomb me showing. Me go from Naira mo. But during the time, you see, you have to be very, very attentive to get how I speak, because most Nigerians don't think outside the box. I'm going to take you back to that NDLEA raid. Mara was having surgery. They were about to arraign them in court, and I stopped it. I called Femi Baba Femi and I wrote a letter. Femi Ejema prosecutor amwe. Eje kon lọ sí rehab. I will organize everything. Eje kon lọ sí rehab. Let them do rehab. There is an option of rehab or prosecution at the NDLEA, but they don't offer everybody rehab. I can tell you right now, they don't offer drug dealers rehab. Drug dealers don't use drugs. They sell it and ruin other lives. So I wanted these guys to go to rehab. So I organized it with the NDLEA. Zeno came out of rehab. You saw him in the car, and he said, I'm home, say no to drugs. I wrote the PSA. Now, Temo. My second degree is public relations management. I wrote the PSA, and Zeno said, don't do drugs anymore. He said the PSA, and that solved that one. The same thing with Mohbad. But Ojo Tuon no Mohbad, ni October 5th, 2022. Ni Mohbad wan sọ̀rọ̀ l'hospital pé ńgbà tó ń dé NDLEA wọ́n fóun ní nǹkan kan mu nínú bottle water with white stuff. Please, guys, I'm a drug expert. I was the director of pharmacy at Johns Hopkins, outpatient drug rehab. What was in that bottle is a mixture of drugs for detox. Okay, Flexeril, ibuprofen, and other things. So he was describing it to someone in the video. Tonto and Yabo grabbed the video and they turned into NDLEA don't poison him. You gotta know how things work. He was describing what I helped them do with the NDLEA. When they were now clean, they released them. No prosecution, no nothing. So that they'll be able to go to all the African festivals. Look at Area Star. Look at Thames. Look at all the African artists traveling up and down. Tiwa Savage, Elomi Tikolis abroad. Asake, Olamide Fireboy. Ewafeki Zino àti Mohbad Hasile. Nítorí pé wọ́n ṣe drugs. I helped them. After all that was over, believe it or not, within the circle of the music industry, you guys don't know all this stuff. I'm giving you an exclusive host. Within the music industry confines, after all what I did, Naira Marley never said thank you one time. Naira never thanked me for everything I did with them and the NDLEA and the rehab and everything. They nearly need Naira took me to say, mommy, thanks, so we'll save Goboyin from the hands of whatever. But what is it worth? It means to move on. So on the day that my son wanted to go and do a song with Rexy, Kaide was Rich KJT. He was practicing Afro beats. My child cannot speak in Yoruba. He understands what we're saying. He's American. He's a rapper. However, he wants to rap alongside, Afrobeat artists, just like Asake, rappers come on Asake's tracks and things. So we went to the right person, Rexy and Uber. Uber, if you know Uber, Uber did the song between Wizkid and Chris Brown. And Uber lives in Lagos. He's a producer, just like the taxi name. Uber lives in Lagos too. Rexy is good. Everybody knows Rexy. His signal at the beginning of the song, yo, Rexy. He did a lot of work with the Malians. So Rexy signed an appointment with my son to come in at the Mawasi, studio Rexy. Minutes before we left home, Rexy called us and cancelled. He said something came up that he'll reschedule. Rexy rescheduled us and he cancelled again. After Mohbad died, it was somebody in the industry, a big person. You all know this person, but me only Darukwe is a big person in the industry. Only, Auntie KEMI. Oh, you take Balodo Malian music. He's a friend to the Malians. Mohbad malo block tell on activate Ushi. That's what the person said. Tell on activate investigation Ushi. You don't like him. So he didn't like me. Only stop. Only came off. On soft naira bike. We have fancy any 500,000. Ti news ba shele npa I want my koko reporter. First of all, news is news. Okay, news is news regardless. That's why I don't talk to Tiwa Savage anymore. She was not happy for the fact that I reported about her sex tape and I gave her advice. Other people reported in other ways. I gave her advice and she was not happy. And Tomo Onajobi was the one that caused that. Tomo Onajobi has a habit of converting friends to enemies. And that's exactly what's happening now with VDM. Converting friends to enemies in the industry is very, very common. And it's ruining the industry. So I don't talk to Tiwa anymore. News is news. You know? America was a train me. Nigeria didn't report in Buruku to the politician to go for him. Okay, if President Jonathan's son rapes somebody, Jonathan might pay journalist money not to report it, and that's what they call suppressed news and underreported news. And because of that, Nigeria is hard to practice. I cannot do that. I have a school on Twitter, 2222 Media School. I tell my students, if you want to be friends with celebrities, make sure you know you can't report about them. You cannot. So don't make friends with celebrities and public figures. Do your work. So at the end of the day, Naira never says things. So that person like, ento block owoyin. She rántí ìgbà kan tọ́mọ yín kan wà ní music by tó fẹ́ wá bọ́ Rexy in studio. Mohbad ló pé Rexy pé kó má lọ, kó má bá yín ṣiṣẹ́. Ha! I was shocked. Mohbad ló ní kí Rexy má bá yín ṣiṣẹ́. Mo bá pe Rexy ń gbọ́. Mohbad ní pé kó má bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ because auntie yẹn ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú NDLEA. I don't work with the NDLEA. I just went to the NDLEA after that case and I told the NDLEA, and you got to enforce security. Chairman got to seize. Let me come and teach you about prescription drugs, narcotics, codeine, tramadol. And that's how I became a regular member in the NDLEA spaces. And I did an 18-month campaign in Nigeria in schools, workplaces, and communities. You know what I mean? I don't work for the NDLEA. People come to me. Eti boomy, my boss in the DM me if she check NDLEA. Please, can you put me? I can get anybody a job in the NDLEA, but not any youth. Because the man boom. So I stopped all that nonsense, you know. But at the end of the day, I don't work for them. I'm friends with the NDLEA. I'm a stakeholder, all right, and I'm up there. I just don't make noise. Everybody need wait on she man make noise. They don't man make noise about everything here. When it comes to his watches, his rings, and everything, everybody has a way they make noise. James Brown has a way he makes noise. Bobrisky has his own way. But in my own thing is like I always remember the one thing at the end of my brain. I come from a very high-ranking political family and an elite family. If I need something or a phone number, I call my dad. I needed to talk to the Oni of Ife, Eniton. I called my dad. Daddy, do you have Eniton's phone number? That is all I need to do. But people don't see that. I don't have to show people that. So Naira Marley has not talked to me. So when I heard all this, I'm like, why am I even investigating these boys? Okay, I'm just doing their investigation. I'm not part of Justice for Mohbad. That's Yabo and Tonto's movement. I'm not the activism part. Journalists must never insert themselves into a story. I want to say it again to you guys. Journalists must never insert themselves into the story. When Megan was shot by Tory Lanez, okay, and I mentored Tory Lanez in Canada, everybody was like, there was this reporter who covered this case and the trial seamlessly. And the reporter's name is Megan. So America named her Megan the reporter. Okay, Megan never inserted herself into that story. She was just giving updates every day. And that's what we do as journalists. And that's what I did in Mohbad's case. But when I saw something that was of concern to me, I told the CP and I finished my investigation. Mohbad was coming from a concert. He got into an argument in a car. 15 people live in his house. One of those 15 people said there was an argument in the car, and it was over a Canadian visa and a child paternity. The baby was with them in the car. I don't know why the baby went to the concert, but the baby was with them. And I've only impregnated you once. How come? Wait, are you telling me that I don't sleep with you every day? You are saying that I've only been impregnated. You've only had, relations with me once, and then I got pregnant. They started abusing each other. Somebody already has a hand injury from coming from the concert. This was one of the biggest concerts for Mohbad. Mohbad was revamping his brand. He launched a label, Immunization. I got all the CSC papers, I posted it. Iṣẹ́ tí mo ṣe lórí Mohbad, no journalist in Nigeria did it. Nǹkan tán ọba ṣe lèmi máa ń grab. Báwo ni mo ṣe máa ń make owó? I make my own money on social media through traffic and monetization. Sometimes it's not enough. But tí mo bá gbé $75 sínú investigation, tí mo make only 2,000, inú mi ti dùn. I worked in Nigeria 11 years without a salary. Without a salary, I used my money to do a lot of investigation, and I really never recouped more because I believe in justice. And that's what I did with Toronto Police and 13 murders. So at the end of the day, what I put together in my investigation, I'll detail in a minute, was closed in November 2023. I came back this year because I wanted to re-update my investigation for the autopsy that came out. If you're doing an investigation and you close it and you know the killer, if the autopsy comes out, you might want to update something. That's why I'm still updating it. And so what basically I found out was there was tempered glass in the car because Mohbad was standing on the sunroof of the car. He wanted to stand on the sunroof like Davido did. Okay? Anything of Karima, Mohbad's mother, everything I wanted to ask Josiah, I asked him. But anything of Karima and all that extracurricular nonsense should not be taken seriously. Everybody's using clout, and that's what everyone's doing. This protest you went to make in London, it was clout. You don't need it. You see what I told the ones in America? The ones in America, I advised them yesterday. They went to protest near the lab, and they were shouting, abusing the lab. You can't do anything. Because that's America. We have a law in America. You see that law? It's called the HIPAA law. Let me just pull my iPhone here, and I want to read you this stuff. This is very, very important, what I want to read you now. Now, during the time I was investigating Mohbad's case, everybody must remember that the whole of Nigeria was saying that Naira Marley and Sam Larry has paid me. So they were talking, saying, "There's one more relationship between Naira Marley and Sam Larry. Am I make up stupid things? Am I insulting you? Iboni mo Sam Larry. Naira Marley tí ó kí mi pé mo help wọn pẹ̀lú NDLEA ló ti sanwó fún mi. Listen carefully, learn things, think outside the box. You're in a country where everybody is corrupt." The write-up I wrote this morning was on Zlatan. IJ Mohbad update. It's on my Twitter if you need it. Zlatan Ibile tricked Mohbad into leaving Naira Marley's label. This is something that Portable just told you guys. All right? He tricked him into leaving the label. And Zlatan is one of those people that convert friends to enemies. He started the spiral that led to his bullying and demise. He converts industry friends to enemies. I can't believe he was there partying at Davido's wedding with Mohbad laying inside ice at the mortuary. Be careful those you call friends. Naira Marley invested a lot in Mohbad, but when he wanted out abruptly, he forgot his contract stipulations, bringing his mom and dad to beg the label boss, quote unquote. You don't bring your parents to beg the label boss, okay? You don't bring your parents to music negotiations unless one of them is your manager or publicist. I'm manager and publicist to my upcoming son, okay? That's when you see me at label owner's bedroom, standing there. Mohbad was an illiterate of industry moves. I hope everybody understand. I'm not illiterate is not an abusive word. Though. Open your ears well. Mohbad was an illiterate
Literate,
of
right?
industry moves, like calling an entertainment lawyer. What they're quick, good ones. Dotun is there. Dotun Phillips, one of the best entertainment lawyers in Nigeria. He has American standards. Mohbad was illiterate of calling an entertainment lawyer, not his mom or dad. Even Davido wanted out of his contract when he was an upcoming artist. DJ Adeleke paid his contract out so that he can become an independent person. A top producer told me that Naira lost a lot of money on the separation. Okay, hold on, guys. Remember the guy I told you that said Mohbad was the one that stopped my 500K and he was the one that called Rexy not to work with my son? Is the same person, that producer. Okay, like I said, I won't tell you the name, but that producer is the one I'm talking about now in this tweet. A top producer told me Naira spent a lot. Naira spent a lot of money on the separation, but ironically, the young man's death generated the money back 10 times in streams and downloads for Malian music. So this is the problem you have with Wumi and the baby and Josiah and anybody related to Mohbad. None of them can touch that money because Naira Marley himself doesn't know the heir. It's usually the heir that's supposed to have the money. And when I mean the heir, H-E-I-R, or more, Mohbad, father, mother, and everybody else talk back. It's usually the child and the wife, and then the extended family. So until we know the heir, Naira Marley will not give anybody money. That person will need a probate lawyer, and that person will need a DNA test. And this is the number one reason why you need a DNA test for that child. May your death never be the source of somebody else's fortune. Because Mohbad's money now is with Naira. It's in two places. Some of it is with Sheyi, some with Naira. Immortalization music and Malian music. It should be your family's money. Zlatan Ibile has never called Mohbad's father to condole with him. To say, Mohbad sympathize. You heard what the father said on my interview. Chua has never called me. Zlatan has never called me. You said everybody, even Davido didn't call me, sent his PA to give me money. You know, it's a sad situation, guys. Now, finally on my write-up, like I said, you can go to my Twitter, @KEMI, it's there. Zlatan Ibile has never called Mohbad's father to condole with him, yet he was at the last concert Imole performed at. His narcissism, I hope you know the meaning of narcissism and people who are narcissistic. Many Nigerians don't know. Many Nigerians do not know. They feel it's just from what they see on TikTok. A narcissist believes everything revolves around them. They really truly believe it's a mental health. I won't call it a mental health illness or disorder, but it's a mental health phenomenon where, listen to this, his narcissism and quest to be recognized among the rich and famous is limitless. Zlatan even named his brand World President. You know what I mean? And you go argue, but if an American rapper comes out and says, Talo Fieshi, World President, this is what happened with The Weeknd. Sure, you know The Weeknd, Canadian artist. Okay. I covered Abel very well, Tesfaye, Ethiopian. I covered him and Drake very well in Canada. Abel came after Wizkid and said, you can't call yourself Starboy. Did you know about that fight? Only call it Starboy now. Only Starboy now. Abel Tesfaye only Starboy. The Weeknd. But because Oruko is popular as much, okay, globally, Oshe season disease from Wizkid. So Wizkid only low brand just Starboy. Sure you get. Starboy music, Starboy. Wizkid had to change his own. So this guy calls himself world president out of narcissism. Be careful among these industry types. Don't be surprised at what's going on now with VDM and the entire industry. It's been there from day one. Choose me, I choose you, or I friend you. Choose me, I choose you, or unfriend you. It's not a Facebook friends list. It's real life. Now that was my write-up. I may have ended my IJ Mohbad investigation September to November 2023, but I recapped it after the autopsy was released, and I will continue to give you tidbits opinions. Now, on that note, choose me, I choose you. We're not talking about Facebook friendship list. Paulo Okoye is my very good friend. Very good friend. Paulo Okoye told me that when I leave Nigeria, this is what he told me in 2021. I have the DM. I'm not posting anything for anybody. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Paulo said, when I leave Nigeria, I said, I'm leaving Nigeria very soon. This was 2021. You see that very soon I said, I had no idea that it would be 2023. But he said, Auntie Kemi, when you're leaving, let me know. Okay, I'm going to take care of you and your son. With regards to KJ, because I reached out to him and I said, I like One Africa. It's Afrobeat. I know that. But you got an Afro, a Nigerian, an American who lives in Nigeria and he wants to open up. Okay, that's what you do when you're upcoming artist. You'll be looking for people to open the shows for. And when you're opening for, even if it's an Afrobeat concert, a rapper can open. Anybody can open, even a Fuji artist. So I was talking to Paulo about that because Paulo is one of the best promoters internationally. So Paulo and I are friends, okay? However, choose me, I choose you, enter the industry. As soon as Paulo started dating Yabo, I didn't talk to Paulo anymore. Host, you understand what I'm saying now? I couldn't talk to Paulo anymore. And when I now heard, when Paulo told me exactly what happened with Mohbad in Manchester, it pained me. And I used it. I kind of used it against him. Listen to what he said. He said, when I was in Manchester, this boy had gone through a lot of pain, beatings and all that through the Malian thugs and the music and everything. What wrong when you let's say Mohbad? When you video here now, me got he posted and call Mohbad in here. Now, Mbasikini Yesheleton, who are bound when you go to blacklist. Did the industry talk when he was beaten at the Malia house and he was tweeting about his blood pressure in a hospital bed? They all kept quiet. Only KEMI lawyer was tweeting him. When he died, has the industry posted? Look at Tiwa Savage's funeral. I'm the only one that has the video. Me and Boa TV. I posted my own. When Tiwa was spraying him on the stage, what did you see in that spraying? Tiwa has not posted one day about RIP Mohbad. Imagine, 9 months now. And at the end of the day, many people in the industry have not posted or even called his parents, his mother, his father. I'm assuming that if they didn't call his father, they didn't call his mother. Imagine. The industry does not care about you. So you should stay an independent artist and work hard as possible. And if you notice how Adekunle Gold shaded everybody. Adekunle Gold said, when I started, I was Adekunle Gold was the Photoshop guy in Nigeria. Everybody knew Adekunle Gold as the Photoshop guy. We know my Photoshop, albums and artists, we cover, we share any Photoshop. We know that Photoshop play in Nigeria. Okay, when I say unload dialect, Photoshop has always been in America, but when it came to starting this whole thing called Photoshop, it was Adekunle Gold, and he was using it in the music industry. So when you're around the music industry a lot, you become a musician. This is what happened to my son. As a music journalist, I took him to every single concert and every interview I did with stars, and he's now a rapper. So Adekunle Gold shaded everybody. Recently, last month, in a tweet saying that Nigerian independent artists, Tioba War in Nigeria, go to Ghana. I was in Ghana. I left Nigeria, went to Ghana. Adekunle Gold was basically saying that I used to do Photoshop for artists in Nigeria. Then I moved to Ghana and I became a musician. I started doing Afrobeat there. They recognized Nigerian music so well in Ghana. The Ghanaians play Nigerian music all the time. And then when I made it, I now shifted back to Nigeria. That's what he was telling people. Don't rush into recording contracts. 10 years. I'm hearing recording contracts of 10 years, 15 years. No recording contract should be more than 5 years. 3 to 5 years. There are many things people don't know. So I now did a 2-hour music journalism seminar on Facebook. Everybody knows that. I also did a 2-hour skit making class on TikTok, which was my first live TikTok. I haven't done anything since then. That's really a class. I did that free. It's not every day I have time. Some people learn, some didn't. So at the end of the day, with what we're saying about Zlatan and all that, I don't want another death in the industry. But going back to Mohbad, what I told the father was that the father should go and bury his son. That's what I told the father. Some people didn't like it. They went on YouTube and did their video.
That's what you told Mohbad's father?
Yeah, I told him, I said, at this point, there's not going to be any meaningful toxicology test. Now, let me explain that toxicology test to you briefly. Because that interview I did with Daddy Freeze, there was nothing there but people abusing me. Not everybody abused me, but the ones abusing me are usually that Wumi fa. I don't care about Team Wumi. I'm not here for Wumi. Okay, Wumi is a criminal and she should be arrested. At the end of the day, I've tweeted. I've said my own thing. Owonha conveniently
The more reason,
resigned.
Sister Kemi, I will love you.
Oh, no interruptions. Let me finish. Owonha, I'm an older person. I have a train of thought. Please, I have a train of thought. Okay, and it's called anxiety. I have PTSD. If you interrupt me, I will forget everything I'm about to say. Let me finish. There's a reason I'm saying this, okay? Please just respect that. I suffer PTSD. The minute you say something, it will change my train of thought.
It's all right.
So, Owonha conveniently retired from the Nigerian police force. I said, is that the same thing that Udumosu did during Sylvester Oromoni case? I said Sylvester Oromoni was being hazed in the school and his father is responsible for his death by not taking him to the hospital with an enlarged liver. Everybody abused me. They released my phone number, my address. They trolled me everything and I fled Nigeria. They threatened me. 2 years later, my 2022 tweet, the judge said the father was responsible and the negligence was on him. Nigerians kept quiet. Everything, let's say from US government, look me in Nigeria. You know? So at the end of the day, people came to my gates now. Someone on job said they should come and beat me up at my house. People are trolling me. Send me messages. Please, if anyone trolls you or sends you messages or anything, because my numbers were released, keep everything. US embassy. Always in Nigeria. I was hidden in 2 hotels before I was whisked out. For me to leave my country and retire after 30 years, I will expose everybody. They don't know. Is it a book? Is it a documentary? It's coming. Just wait. That industry is very wicked. So it's the same thing Odumosu did. When he got hot, he quickly resigned from Lagos CP. But when retire, pension. So Owonha did the same thing, retired. I followed Owonha until I reached him in Abuja. Guess what? He didn't retire from the Nigerian police force. He became the head of Interpol in Nigeria. Ogba appointments me, the head of Interpol in Nigeria for Nigerian police. So think about it, Bono abandon investigation. Go and see how Toronto police works. The people I volunteered for. They don't abandon the investigation. They shelve it and call it a cold case. If a new tip comes out, they remove it out. That's how it's done. For Mohbad's case, they've closed it. When you finish the investigation, you send it to the DPP, Director of Public Prosecutions. You now told the Yabo who was activating that, sorry, the case is not with us anymore. In other words, that was their way of kicking Yabo out because Yabo began to really irritate them. So as they kicked Yabo out of the case, and they claimed that they have taken the case to the DPP, notice that police didn't talk about that case anymore in December, January, February. They said they are sending the autopsy. So you are all waiting for an autopsy that takes 6 weeks in any hospital. Excuse me, you are waiting for an autopsy that takes the toxicology test that takes 6 weeks in any hospital, any lab. Autopsy took 2 days. Autopsy was ready on the 21st of September, but you needed that toxicology test. This is a drug user that uses a lot of drugs and molly. This is somebody that drank bitters at his last concerts. So, Motin Wowe, that's why the first Daddy Freezer went on. When Mohbad died, I said they might find drugs in his system and say that's what killed him. But when they did their news conference, they had ceftriaxone as a drug that killed him. He went to convulsions and seizures. He reacted to it. Why was anybody dosing ceftriaxone inside a house? Why was it an auxiliary nurse and not a regular nurse? Why were they in the house? His wife stabbed him in the neck. And it was a laceration in his neck. After the fight in the car, and this was 3 eyewitnesses that told me this, and look at the auntie now. Auntie Tonluago, Tiabon Mock. Kini auntie yeso? Auntie Eni, Talogun Mohbad Lorun. That auntie was at the autopsy. I hope you all know that the whole family was in the autopsy except the father. They were there in the autopsy. They witnessed the autopsy. They sit down on a place that looks like a stadium, high up in different chairs, and they'll be looking into the autopsy. Mohbad lying down on the hospital whatever bed, and the surgeons around him cutting his body up. And there's glass. They can see the everything. Auntie Yeri now. That's why I took back Gotobres shake me. Timo lati pe Churchill in London. Churchill's mother, Churchill Tonto's ex-husband. Churchill's mother lives in London and the grandmother. Grandma just died last week. But
Yeah, sorry.
I had to call Churchill in London. I said, Churchill, fast. They were praying in London and fasting for Tonto's son because Mohbad's auntie was ringing a bell and laying curses on their children, Yabo and Tonto's children. Do you see how you can do something and you invite generational curses into your own family? This is why we all have to be careful what we do. This woman was cursing Tonto, and you know Tonto's son is Churchill's son, and Grandma Oladuni's grandchild and great grandma who died last week, Churchill's great grandma. And at the end of the day, we're all praying because of the bad things Tonto has invited into her house. And that's the same time I said, yeah, but you shouldn't be buying a cassette, you shouldn't be doing videos and everything. Why was I entering her children's name? I said, okay, sorry, I did that. Then we talked in the DM. I told her to post my DM, she posted it. Then she turned around, started posting videos of my PTSD, mocking my mental health when I was out of prison. And her fans follow this nonsense. Mad woman, gbogbo yẹn. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń follow Yabo and tap into negative blessings. Somebody told me yesterday, I said, I'm 60 years old in a month. I've achieved everything I want in life. I've gotten every appointment I wanted in America. I owe nobody nothing. I have no debts, nothing. And I want to just go and move to Dubai or somewhere and just enjoy my life, or Qatar, which I like. That's a free, soft life. And this girl came. Everybody had their comments. Congratulations, Mama. This girl came and said, I tap into your blessing. And I said, no, we don't say that. On this page, we don't say that. Never tap into anyone's blessings. I'm going to be a woman of God. I am a woman of God. Hey, come on. But I'm going to launch the official thing. But now in my evangelism, it's spiritual. My own is not religion. It's spiritual evangelism. I always tell people, don't tap into people's blessing. That woman, Mommy Z, that got all these gifts from every company in Nigeria. People are tap into your blessing. Don't tap into people's blessing, because you might be tapping into the negative energy in their blessings. There might be something you don't want in their blessings that you tapped into. That's the same thing with Tonto. When that woman was cursing Tonto and Yabo's children, you see what's going on? They were actually cursing an innocent child who also has other relatives watching this whole thing. So at the end of the day, Tonto and Yabo phased out of the investigation because they were disgraced by everybody in every corner. And VDM started with Yabo. Yabo's mother died of schizophrenia, a terrible mental health illness that somebody starts shouting, yelling, hearing voices, and they can take those voices and kill somebody. Chebo Mokolomo Bel America, to look pa gbogbo family nínú ilé, to lo ngbo voices, ko lo mu knife o de pa gbogbo wọn. Schizophrenia ló ní. Mental home, Yabo told everybody her mother died in her sleep. She lied about many things, but she forgot she told me. I'm a journalist. I keep things confidential. I protect the source. But because Yabo told me this, and she now came out mocking my own PTSD, my own mental health,